Welcome back to Discovering an Educated Life. This is Megan. Grab your cup of coffee and let's talk a little more about what's not working in our homeschool this year. Okay, so don't forget to hit like or subscribe before we go further to hear all the updates and things we have going on with our homeschool this year. So the first thing, I'm gonna link the video that talks about what we stopped already. So we stopped science from My Father's World. We stopped the history and Bible from My Father's World. And that's also includes like literature and stuff because we are switching back to Sunlight Core B that we had done half of in second grade at the end of the year. And we are moving into that full force starting now. What else didn't work? Language arts. I just couldn't get a feel. I couldn't get a good fit with it. I couldn't get a rhythm with it. I just couldn't. I've tried and I've tried and I've tried and I've looked at this and this and this trying to see what it was. And I think it's just she needs more of a like systematic format. She likes copy work and I didn't want to make my own copy worksheets. She likes more copy work than just the Bible verse each week. She was wanting, she liked the format of the copy work in Sunlight we did before. She didn't love everything about their language arts, but she liked that part of it. And I just think she needs more of a challenge than what she was getting. So I have tried language lessons for today. We had done grade 2 and then we had started grade 3. I had purchased it used online on Facebook Marketplace and we just could not get a rhythm with it still. So I was like, you know what? We came back from Christmas and we had done her spelling and stuff over Christmas break. You know, we just did like spelling and some basics in math and stuff. So when we came back, I was like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to try some different stuff. We're just going to give each thing that we have on the plate 2 weeks. And if it doesn't work and we're not loving it after, I know 2 weeks isn't a lot of time, but I wanted to kind of give us like a month or two of trying out different things. So the first thing we tried was the good and the beautiful. And I wanted this to work so much because I've heard so many great things about it. And I spent like a large amount of time printing this on my Eco Tank. Luckily I did find a family that wants it. So I didn't waste my time because I can bless another family with it. But I printed this and I printed the entire grade 2 reader and I just can't get into this. And I'm gonna tell you why. So we did the placement test and my daughter placed at a 11 to 12th grade reading level. She's 8. So I think she's probably more around a 9th or 10th grade. I think their test was a little easier, but she placed at a level 2 in their language arts. And that's only because of certain things she didn't know. So I kind of knew going in, this may not be the best fit for my daughter. And I learned the hard way it was not because we started doing this and we did the first however many lessons. And I think for a child that is completely at level 2, I love it. I wanted to love this so much, guys. I really did. So she got to, 12 lessons in. And we were sitting down reading one night. And this is a child who reads chapter books, very advanced level chapter books on a regular basis. This is a child who has never had a problem with just sight words and reading and even phonics. She has it down. She's a great speller. And she just doesn't know, sometimes parts of speech that get a little more difficult. She can tell you a noun and a verb, maybe an adverb or an adjective. But when we started talking, some of the pronouns, she's like, what's that mean? So I was like, you know what? Let's start, or the verbs, if you're talking about something is as the verb, she was a little confused. So I said, let's just try it. And it will be easy for the things that you know. And then for the things you don't know, you're not going to be overwhelmed because we're at some crazy high level that we're trying to do your language arts at. And then there's fun stuff. There's geography she needs. There's art in here. There's poetry. She loves that stuff. So I thought this would be great. And it will really give her like a good broad geography overview. It was not, because 2 weeks in, we were sitting down to read one night, and we had been working on the word though, and they were teaching the different like phonics of these things, of these words at some point in here. And she had these ladders. So this is what I want to tell you about these sight word ladders. These sight word ladders she was doing. So the first day, they're like, can you read all these words? Check it off if you can. She just, I mean, faster than I can read it. She was like, most caught beautiful because another. And I was like, okay. Like she just like went through it like that. And then she did the second list and she did the third list and she just kept, I was like, okay, that's good. Stop. And I was like, this might be way too easy. So let's just try it and see where we're at. So then we did some stuff in the back of this, and it was like the timers, the word chart assessments. So we went back to the back. We'll do these word chart assessments and see where we are. And we'll do these practice charts. So this practice chart, she has to do this. Number of words and how many seconds. Well, it was 60 words because there are 60 words on this page, and it was in 50 seconds. If that, like, this just wasn't a good fit for her. But it said in the assessment, like, or in the placement, that this is what she placed at. Like, I did the test with her and she placed at this level. And it's because they're combining reading skill with total language arts skill. And they're not always the same. So I was like, okay. Like I said, I still kept giving it a try, and we still kept pushing forward. And then we hit a wall one night. We were reading at bedtime. She reads to me every night, and I read to her every night. And we just do it for, like, we pick fun books. It's not like a school thing. Sometimes if we like didn't get to a read aloud or something, we'll like, okay, we'll do this for bedtime story tonight, or you can read your reader if something crazy was going on that day. But for the most part, no, that's just a fun time for us. She was reading a book, and my husband, when she went to bed, was like, what was that? And I was like, I don't know, but I think I know. And she was like really struggling with reading. And it was shocking because this is my kid that has always been an avid reader and just zooms through stuff like she's an adult when she's reading it out loud. Like she just looks at it and says it. So I was really confused at first, and then it hit me when the next day, we're doing sight word ladders. It really hit me. So she read this right the first week. So think, we're 3 weeks into doing phonics. And so she passed it after a couple times, and she read this so fast. Third week, she's starting to break these down phonetically like she did in kindergarten. And she's like sounding out people. And then she pronounced enough a no. And that's when I knew this is not for her. Because we had worked on the phonetic way to say though. English is phonetic, but not everything. You cannot just teach reading the English language phonetically because there are different rules, and there are a lot of them. So if you want a child to memorize an abstract rule to something instead of memorizing the words, it's very difficult for them to read. I taught her phonics. Like we did full phonics in preschool, in kindergarten, and in first grade. And by first grade, by the end of kindergarten, she was reading Little House on the Prairie. By first grade, she was reading A Secret Garden. She was reading Pinocchio and Peter Pan, the unabridged versions, by the end of first grade. This is a child who does not need phonics. Like she can read them, she comprehends them, she reads them silently, she reads them aloud, she pronounces the things correctly, she's a good speller. She doesn't need phonics. This child who doesn't need phonics was suddenly sounding out words. And I was like, no, we're stopping immediately because, and I tried to talk to her about it at first, and then we did a couple more days and it was declining. And I was like, there is no way I'm going to take this reader who reads really well, who maybe every once in a while spells a word wrong, and stop all that to teach phonics to her because she doesn't know the word is a verb. That does not make sense to me, and I refuse to do it. So that is why I can't use this. And for another child who is at this reading level and who is at this language arts level, this looks so good. And I think it would work so good. For my child, who is very different in her reading level and her general language arts level, this is horrible. So we can't keep doing it. Like, it doesn't make any sense at all. So what else did we try? So week 2, I said, we're gonna try something else. So this is what we tried. The Easy Peasy All-in-One Homeschool. This is the language arts workbook for grade 3. And this is the 3rd grade reader. So it's the Easy Peasy All-in-One Homeschool. If you're not familiar, this is an all online program. But you can order these workbooks very frugally on Amazon. And they're not, like I said, they're frugal, they're not expensive. This was like $8 or $9. And it has a worksheet for every day. And there are like videos and games and activities. And so this is the language arts portion. There are reading assignments online as well. And you can buy the book, which I actually did buy and returned because we decided not to use it. I bought the reader and I returned it. And this is the workbook for the reader. And this part's not online, but like, whatever, you're reading Heidi, and so there's like a word search to go along while you're reading Heidi. There's just little things like that, like little games and stuff in here. So I thought she would enjoy it. She hates being on the computer though. So I don't even have to tell you what's wrong with this because I think the program's good. She just does not like using the laptop for school. And she owns, like, I bought her a laptop for Christmas. So I thought that's perfect. We'll try it out just for this one subject. I don't want her to be online all day. She's not a fan still. She does not like doing online school. She doesn't mind looking something up online. She likes watching YouTube videos on her laptop for school. If it's like, you know, the quick links or something from Usborne, she's fine doing that. She wasn't fine doing this, even though she had the workbooks, even though she had the reader. She just wasn't a fan of it. The program itself seemed fine. We did it for 2 weeks. And then when one day she was like, oh, do I really have to get on there and stare at the computer for 45 minutes? I was like, no, I'm not going to make you sit on the computer. So no. And so we're just going to do this now. So that's the 2 things we tried. We're going to try out the same thing we're trying for everything else. We're going to go back to Sunlight. We were using Language Arts 3 in 2nd grade with her. Again, only because of the reading level. But their language arts is kind of advanced. So using level 3 with a 2nd grader was a little stretch, I think. Not in the reading. Like, the reading might have even been too easy. Portions of it. She enjoyed it. But she definitely could have went up. But the writing was challenging. Spelling, she aced every spelling test. But the writing was a little challenging. And honestly, that's pretty much it, was the writing. So if we don't like the writing, if we pick this up and we still don't like the writing, I'll find something else to do for writing. But I think for the most part, we're just going to go with this. And I will show you what that looks like for us. Here's a week. This is like week 15. And I think I've showed this a little bit before. So we're just going to go in here and do the rule and write is like learning your new spelling list and doing that. And then it has the sound list and all of that. We won't be doing any of that because we liked our spelling. So that's going to be another video, and I'll link it below, where I'm going to talk about what worked this year. And spelling is working for us. So I'm not even using the spelling. And we didn't do the phonics. She doesn't need it. So I already talked about that. So we're not doing the phonics from here. So what you'll see is just a spot you can write in your handwriting, which our handwriting is working. So I'll just write in her handwriting. Then you'll see this reader. So if it's one, we've already done the littles, and we've done quite a few of these. So we may finish this language arts a little early this year. That's okay. if we finish language arts early. She's done enough, I think, this year already. So if we finish this early, we might just do some fun stuff for the rest of the year. Then we also do, for vocabulary development right here, this is Wordly Wise. She does this once a week. So we have that still, and she had done about half of it. So we're just going to pick that back up. And then this is the part that really is her language arts. It's this creative expression block here. And that is just going to look like this. I will show you an example of some of these assignments of a week in the back of here. So if you were on week 22, this is her copy work for day 1. Then she's going to have copy work application. It's saying like use the subject and predicates below to construct 3 simple sentences. So this is just applying this. And there's like a whole script in here that's going to explain to you how to teach this. So that was really helpful to me last year, because then if I was like, I could use my own words and explain it to her and figure out how to do that really well. Then this portion here is more of it, and this is going to be talking about award-winning characters. So this is like setting up to write a story, and that's going to be on the 3rd day. This is going to be where you're going to record that story on the 4th day of the week. And sometimes she needs a little more time for those, and that's okay. And then this is going to be an optional copy work 2 for Fridays. And sometimes we didn't do those, but sometimes we did when we did it before. And I may do it a little bit different. I think I might just introduce the copy work and the story on Mondays, and then the application, you know, when she finishes the copy work, we'll get to the application on Tuesday, but then we'll keep working on that story all week. I don't like just doing the story in 1 or 2 days. I think introducing it on Monday works better for her. And that way she's getting in like copy work and writing every day plus story writing every day. Even if like she's just getting 2 sentences written on this page on a Tuesday, then Wednesday she's writing more, and Thursday she's finishing it off. That way I'm not just like giving her that whole page to do in one day. So that's what we're going to try. I'm not guaranteeing it's going to work, but we just have not found a rhythm entire 3rd grade. Our kindergarten year, so this is new to us. We've changed things, but like our kindergarten year was very smooth. Our 1st grade year, even though my husband was in Korea, was surprisingly smooth. It wasn't perfect, and there were like some days we were just trying to catch a rhythm and trying to get things together, but we were doing like, it felt like we had a rhythm going. The second part of 2nd grade with Sunlight was great. The first part where I was trying to use 5 in a row and make up some stuff on my own, I didn't like that. But this year, we've tried 3 or 4 things in multiple subjects, and we've had to change a lot. And I'm here just to tell moms that are worried about that it's okay to change a lot. It is okay. You do not have to feel like you're doing something wrong if the curriculum is not working for your child, because you cannot be a slave to that curriculum. It can't be like the judge of how well you're homeschooling, because I have tried to do that to myself. And it's like, okay, this isn't working for me, so I must be failing. I must be, you know, a horrible homeschool parent because I can't do this exactly as it's telling me to do it. My child is going to be different from every other child. Again, I've said she's advanced in reading, not so much. She's like on level in language arts. She's about on level in math. And sometimes math can be a little challenging to her. So other kids might be math experts and like still learning to read. So they're going to be completely different on their needs than my child. Even when it comes to history, because you're like, well, that doesn't make sense. What does that have to do with anything? If your child's struggling to read still, history might need to be a little lighter, or science might need to, you know, be scaled back if they're still struggling a little bit with math or still struggling a little with reading. It just depends on where you're at. So you have to kind of cater that to your child. And with what we were using, I felt so tied into their schedule that it was overwhelming me. And I have an only child, and so I can do whatever I want with her. And I was like trying to fit us into this little box that was not working. So thankfully, I've recognized that, and I'm hoping that going forward, that will go so much smoother. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I will have much more coming about things, the good and the bad, and the ugly of homeschooling this year, and just what is actually working though. So I don't want to talk about only the things that aren't working. I will have many updates coming about what is working in our homeschool in the days coming.